Very good morning to all my dear students present here of this Model Degree College, Khariyar, and respected guest of honor Dr. Shiv Kumar sir, head of the department Anthropology, and esteemed colleague Ipsita Panda madam, Department of Chemistry, and Hemant sir, Department of Chemistry. I welcome you all to be here to listen patiently the seminar topic on which I want to deliver. The topic is so simple, but it can be presented in the technical manner or technical style. That project or that topic can be also practiced in your laboratory that is available in our college also. So the very simple topic, the broad topic name is catalyst. You know, in our life, every day, every time, the chemical reaction is going to happen. And you know, almost all, or it is nearly 99.9% of all chemical reactions are possible only in the presence of catalyst. Because you know, catalyst is the substance which can enhance the rate of chemical reaction. That means the rate of chemical reaction so fast that the product can be economically produced and that can be commercialized. In the medicine, in the food manufacturing, in leather technology, and so many factors, so many industries, the catalyst has played a great role. So on this context, I would not going to give the details of the catalyst and its preparation, formation, and the classification and its use. So the time is very short. It is also allowed by the department to deliver only on this piece to maximum 1 hour. So to respect the words, I want to deliver my speech confined to only 1 hour, and that includes my speech and some interaction. I would like to be some questions from the audience, and if possible, I can also ask some questions if some students have completely understood my topic, then he or she can also answer it. Because you are all my students, I am not foreigner to you. That's why I am expecting some answers from some of the students. Okay. So now we will go to the topic, that is oxidative decolorization of azo dyes. Oxidative decolorization of azo dyes using seabed manganese nodules as green approach. Very intelligently, the word green is also colored as green. Okay. So this should be blue, but it is written in the green. And this azo dye means, you know, the dye and color, and this azo dye means nitrogen based colors or dyes, that is azo dyes. And the particular dye which I have to present here, that color is like this blue color, that is called methylene blue. That is called methylene blue. So the next, then what is this manganese noodle? You see, what is manganese noodle? You should know what is manganese noodle. The next slide, please. Here you see the picture. The virgin manganese noodle, it is formed at the bed of the sea. Samudra तଳ भागरे एभली सब देखा जाउथाय. It is actually occur below 500 kilometers from the surface of water. It is below 500 kilometers, and the small piece of this manganese noodle appears to be this. So the question arises, why it is black? Because it is oxide form. It is in the oxide form. Every metal oxides appears to be brown or black like this. And here the most important metal are the most metal which is percentage which occurs in the higher percentage, that is manganese. And manganese dioxide, you know, that catalyst used as manganese dioxide, which is black in color, just slightly brown and it is approximately black, and this is the manganese noodle. So manganese dioxide is certainly different from this manganese noodle. You might have very much acquainted with the word noodle, but this is called manganese noodle because this appears to be, the shape is like noodle. That's why it is called manganese noodle. The previous slide. Here, this manganese noodle, it is called ferromanganese concretions formed in the seabed at the depth of 5 km. So from the surface of the water, depth is 5 km and onwards, this seabed, it is formed ferromanganese noodle. Why it is called ferromanganese? This appears to be, ferro means iron. So where the manganese is present, almost this manganese associated with iron in everywhere. Whether it is in ore form or in the seabed ore also, this iron is always associated with manganese. And primarily, the elements what are present here, the manganese noodle, the most concentrated element is manganese and iron. That's why it is ferromanganese concretions. And the precious elements besides this manganese and iron, other elements which are present is the nickel, cobalt, copper and titanium. And the trace element means that element which occurs in the very, very lower concentration, that is called trace element. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium and some more elements are there, but that is insignificant quantities often there. And some rare earth metals are also there. You might have known that earth metal belongs to F block element. F block actinides and lanthanides, those are called rare earth elements. So besides that, we are very much interested to be the role of manganese in the manganese noodle to our topic. What is the interest? Why we will study about this manganese noodle? What is its use? So besides that, this manganese noodle is precious for us, or it is industrially important because of these precious elements like nickel, cobalt, copper and titanium. These are very much industrially used in different sectors in comparison to iron and manganese. But I was interested to study about the catalytic property of this manganese noodle, where the manganese is the most percentage occurs. What is the role of manganese? Definitely I can say the manganese dioxide catalyze some reactions, and manganese noodle can also catalyze the reactions, but the rate of impact or the rate of effect on catalytic process both are different. Manganese dioxide is a pure system, and whereas this manganese noodle is a mixture of a complex system where so many elements occur in the form of either hydroxides or oxides. Okay. So next. So what is the use of this manganese noodle? Actually it occurs 5 km depth in the seabed, and the mining process is also very costly. Then can you use it? Can it be used? It is used for the metal extraction like nickel, cobalt and copper. In the previous slide, we have already emphasized on the precious elements. Precious elements means this nickel and cobalt and copper, these are the precious elements. In comparison to manganese and iron, these are costly elements and it has some very specific use. And also in the total earth, this copper, nickel and cobalt occurs very less percentage in comparison to the manganese and iron. That's why it is precious. And the second one is adsorbent for cationic and anionic pollutants. Pollutants, you know, there are some chemical compounds which can change the orderliness of the certain compounds, certain useful compounds. That is called pollutants. So suppose in the air, we require oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. Besides that, if the sulfur dioxide content is more, any other volatile organic compound is there, then it is called pollutant because it is not useful for us. In some pollutants, that pollutant is chemical compound, it may be anionic compound or it may be cationic compound that can be utilized, that can be removed from the source by using this manganese noodle. The third one is the adsorbent for crude petroleum. You know, the catalysis process always requires two important requirements is the adsorbate and adsorbent. Here we are using manganese noodle at the adsorbent because the pollutants are the adsorbate. So definitely all of you know what is the basic difference between adsorbate and adsorbent. So nothing to discuss more. Here the catalyst for VOC decomposition. What is the full form of VOC? It is called a volatile organic compound. You know, the organic compounds have lower boiling point, that's why it is at room temperature that can be volatilized out, or at certain higher temperature that can be also volatilized out. Okay, and that organic compounds are mostly pollutants, and it is poisonous, sometimes it is also toxic. So that can be decomposed to form the simpler forms or non-toxic forms by the use of this manganese nodule. And the fifth one is catalyst for organic compound conversion. You know the organic compound conversion, like you can convert ethyl alcohol to methyl alcohol or some acids. So one compound can be converted to another compound by certain reaction mechanism. And you know, previously I said that every reaction is catalyzed by certain catalyst. In presence of certain catalyst, that reaction or any conversion is easier. That's why any organic compound can be converted to another organic compound with the help of this catalyst. That manganese nodule can also be helpful for the conversion of organic compound from to get our desired product. Then the decolorization of organic dyes, that's the last one. Decolorization of organic dyes. What is the meaning? Color, dye means it is color, definitely. So if it is present with any other substance, then it should be removed from that by different methods. That organic compound or the color substance can be decomposed, it can be broken down to smaller elements or smaller molecules, or it can be completely removed out as such. So there are different ways how to remove these pollutants. That pollutant is dye, if it is present in excess or it is beyond the limit or beyond the desired limit, then it should be removed. If once this organic dye removed from the source, then this process is called decolorization. And the very familiar organic dyes, some of the organic dyes are given here. AMB means methylene blue, AMG malachite green, and CR Congo red, and this is methyl orange. Methyl orange, all are the color. Blue, green, red and orange, all are color. That's all are the dyes. Okay. So these are the structure of the given dyes, like methylene blue, it is in color blue. It is malachite green, it should be green, but it is malachite green means it is color definitely green. And Congo red, it is written in the red color means the compound is also red. Okay. In every structure you see the nitrogen is present here, nitrogen is present here, nitrogen is present here. So these are, that's why it is called the azo dyes. In which dye the nitrogen is present in this structure, these are called azo dyes. What is the use of methylene blue? Particularly I am interested to use or to remove that methylene blue from different source, from drinking water or from industrial effluents like that. There are so many dyes, every dye can be removed by the same method, but specifically for the time's sake, I will only discuss about how the methylene blue can be removed. Then before that, why it is used, we should know. That is a coloring agent in chemicals, and this methylene blue can also be used in the textile industry, different cottons of color dress materials, and pulp, paper industry, printing purpose it is also used, and the cosmetics, leathers and food industry. So many industries this color reagent is required, it is very much used and have high demand. Then what are the techniques of removal of this methylene blue from wastewater? You know wastewater means what we are using and throw away the remaining, that can be wastewater, because when we throw something it can have some possibility of contamination of different other compounds. That's why it is called wastewater. So in the water, if this methylene blue is present, particularly it happens where the industries, cotton industries, in that case methylene blue is rejected or ejected from the industry as a industrial effluents. That water is known as wastewater. So from that water, how can we remove this methylene blue or different color as we are considering it as pollutant? So that one process is reverse osmosis. You are very much familiar with osmosis process. If it is reverse osmosis, that means the reverse reaction occurs, and you see here the reverse osmosis, the pressure will be certainly, you have to change the pressure from one side, then the reverse osmosis can possible. Otherwise simply reverse only osmosis is spontaneous, but reverse osmosis is not spontaneous. You have to change the condition, then only you can have reverse osmosis. For example, the people in sea, when they are traveling with the boat or something like that, they can collect water, drinking water from sea water. How can they get? It is completely saline. So by reverse osmosis process, from the saline water, they can have drinking water. That is called reverse osmosis process. Then it is another process is called chemical oxidation. It is very much effective, but it is not a green approach. Why it is not a green approach? Because my title is always related to green approach. Green means it, when we are using certain chemicals for certain purpose, then the product should not be biologically hazardous. It should not produce any another pollutant for us. That is the green approach. Okay. So any product, byproduct, if it is obtained, that must be organic, that must be digested by any bacteria, or it should be removed from the environment. So chemical oxidation process. Oxidation is a powerful tool. Oxidation and reduction. Since in our environment, oxidation occurs more frequently than reduction. So chemical oxidation process is easier than the reduction process. So every way the scientist tries to oxidize certain things and remove as the pollutants. And the third one is the precipitation process. If it is present in a very small species as in the water or in any system or in the medium, then it should be removed as it will be precipitated. Once it is precipitated, all the pollutants can be collected in the small volume and that will easily removed. That is the one of the another method to remove the pollutants. And third one is the electrodialysis. You know, electrodialysis process, the cationic species will go to the cathode and the anionic species will go to the anode, and at there they will be neutralized and precipitated there, that can be removed. Another process is adsorption. This process is very important, it is adsorption. We will focus on in the next slide on adsorption. You know, this adsorption in detail we will discuss in the next slide. Then it is another process is photocatalytic or catalytic degradation, that can be only happen when the ultraviolet radiation is subjected to or it is exposed to that solution. By absorbing energy from ultraviolet radiation, the molecule will change itself to form the less hazardous molecules or less harmful molecules. Then it is hydrogen peroxide. It is a highly oxidizing agent. It can furnish nascent oxygen which can oxidize easily the reactant molecules to less harmful products. Another is UV in presence of ozone. Ozone is also very important and it is oxidizing agent, and UV in presence of Fenton's reagent. This word you are not familiar. Fenton's reagent. Fenton's reagent is hydrogen peroxide solution along with iron 2, means ferrous sulfate solution. If you take with the hydrogen peroxide, that will helpful to produce the hydroxyl free radicals. Hydroxyl free radicals, which can affect the reaction mostly. It can also be poisonous. It can also damage the cells. It has very important uses in industrial purpose. So the Fenton's reagent is also very helpful to remove this pollutants from the wastewater. And titanium oxide materials. This is also another kind of material which is very costly but have high demand because of its effectiveness. To prepare material. That is, my material is manganese noodle. I am interested only with manganese noodle. This manganese noodle is raw material. It is virgin manganese noodle. Akhyata avasthare taku anaichi. How can it be? It will be catalyst form. Always the catalyst has certain characteristics. The catalyst must have some high surface area and active sites. Then only it can be catalyst. Okay, and specificity also. So this lump material or the bigger size material must be first crushed to smaller pieces, then ground to fine powders and sieved to. Sieve means what? That can be selected to small passes through the net so that we can get a definite size of particles. Okay. Then it is powder form and dried at 110 degree for 8 hours. Why it is necessary to heat this compound at 110 degree? Because you know this content obtained from sea level. So it must contain what? Water. Okay. So that water must be removed. As long as it is there, they may interfere in the process of catalyzation. So here the water must be removed. That's why water boiling point is 100 degree, and we are elevated to 110 degree Celsius for 8 hours. That means complete removal of water is possible only when that material is subjected to heating at 8 hours in the oven. Okay. Then how can you prepare this method of decolorization of MB? Means it is MB, always you refer that's methylene blue. Methylene blue, it is MB. So the decolorization of organic dyes was conducted using batch decolorization technique in a constant temperature bath. It is about 25 degrees Celsius, and very much you know the 25 degrees Celsius is room temperature. So at room temperature, that methylene blue solution is taken in a particular bowl or particular container, and it has the provision of that circulation, and to that solution we have to add our catalyst. Our catalyst, what is that catalyst? Manganese dioxide catalyst. It is manganese nodule catalyst. It is in the powder form. And that solution volume is about 500 milliliter, and the pH must be specifically controlled around 3 to 10. 3 to 10 means 3 is acidic condition and 10 is basic condition by alkaline condition. So in the various pH 3, 4, 5 and 9 like this, at a different pH, this is also studied. What is the catalytic property of this manganese noodle at different pH, and the content of the noodle is taken, or the catalyst is taken 0.3 gram per liter to 3 gram per liter, 0.6 gram per liter to 3 gram per liter. So the minimum quantity is given is 0.6 gram and maximum is 3.0 gram per liter. That means when I am taking that 500 milliliter solution, how much catalyst I have to take? Just half. This is 0.3 and the maximum is 1.5 gram per liter. Okay. So in that solution, the pH is maintained by adding this hydrogen chloride for lower pH, and for sodium hydroxide, if you use sodium hydroxide, then the pH will be higher. It is in the alkaline medium. So alkaline medium or acidic medium can be controlled by addition of hydrogen chloride and sodium hydroxide. Now the solution is prepared for our experiment. We will study that what are the different parameters can influence the process of catalyzation. Okay, the factors are, first factor is concentration of the dye. What is the dye? Methylene blue. Methylene blue concentration, it is a solution. It has various concentrations. It can be prepared in various concentrations. So here these are the graph. Here it is the time, and this is the concentration graph. Concentration graph, and each line corresponds to a particular concentration. This is the highest concentration, and this is the lowest concentration. Okay, highest concentration means this is about what is the concentration? It is not clear here. High concentration maximum value is 100 ppm. Okay, it is 100 ppm. ppm, you know, ppm is another unit to express the unit of concentration, like molarity, normality and ppm. ppm means parts per million. When the solute is present in 1 milligram per liter, that is called 1 ppm. Okay. Similarly, 100 ppm means 100 milligram per liter solution. It is called 100 ppm solution. So various concentration solutions have been prepared and studied with same time frame. It is for 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 100 minutes like this. So different time scale we have studied the percentage of concentration. Here the what is this? This is called decolorization percentage. It is called decolorization percentage. If it is 150% is removed, then the colorization process is 50%. Okay. Suppose you are taking one solution where 100 ppm material is present, or 1 liter of the solution is present, in which solution 100 milligram of the compound is methylene blue is present. 50% decolorization means 50 milligram is removed from that solution, then you can say the colorization percentage is 50%. So this is a percentage starting from 0 to 100%. More than cannot be possible. 100% or adhika. So here you see that this is the highest concentration and this is the lowest concentration graph. Here the highest concentration, if it is highest concentration, solution is present in the highest concentration and other factors remaining same. Temperature is constant, pH is constant, and the catalyst is also constant. Constant amount of catalyst is also taken. If the concentration of the solution is more, then the decoloration process will be slower. Why? Because the surface area of the catalyst is very small. If more number of adsorbate molecules are there, but adsorbent is small amount is taken, and adsorbate is taken in more 100. That's why it is not possible to completely decolorize the solution. If you take dilute solutions, that means the number of MB molecules will be less, that can be completely removed because the adsorbent is more or the active surface area is more in comparison to the number of molecules to be adsorbed. Okay, and the conclusion here, these are the observations. At lower concentration the decoloration reached about 93% within 10 minutes. Only within 10 minutes this percentage you see, here it is 93%, it is 100 and it is below, so it is 93%. And for higher concentration it is only 40% and it takes only 3 hours. It is only 10 hours for lower concentration. For higher concentration it will take a very long time, 3 hours. Only 40% is adsorbed or it is removed. That means decoloration only 40% and the 60% remaining in the solution. So the conclusion is surface reactivity and the number of adsorption sites are two crucial factors for oxidative decoloration of MB. This is the conclusion. Okay. So then what is the effect of catalyst? The catalyst manganese noodle taken in the form of powder form and it is completely dried at 110 degree for 8 hours. That is our desired catalyst. If we add different amount of catalyst having same concentration, here the concentration is kept constant, but the amount of catalyst or the weight of catalyst is taken in a different weights. It is maybe 0.6 gram, 4 gram per liter like this, 0.8 gram, 2 gram like this. So different amount, if you take more and more catalyst, then more and more decoloration occurs. It exactly happens. The extent of MB decoloration decreases with the decrease in catalyst amount. If the catalyst amount will decrease, if you take the less amount of catalyst, then concentration decoloration process also hampers or it will be less. If you take higher catalyst loading means more amount of catalyst is taken, then the decoloration process will be higher because the more is the surface area of the adsorbent, more the number of molecules to be adsorbed and it will be ultimately out or it will be removed. So the conclusion is greater the efficiency is shown by higher manganese nodal loading due to large number of active sites available to the formation of precursor complex and subsequent decoloration. So in the last bottom you see there are two important words here used is large number of active sites. You see the active sites and surface area both are distinctly different. You see any material has certain surface area. If you take a cricket ball, it has also surface area. Surface is spherical surface, it can be measured. Similarly, if you take the catalyst particles, if it is small balls, very minute balls, it has also total area. So total area is not responsible for catalytic adsorption process because the surface having certain particular points, those are active points that can only attract the molecules, adsorbent molecules or the pollutant molecules to be adsorbed on the side. That means the active sites or the number of areas or the number of molecular sites very less in comparison to the total area available. If the number of active sites is more, then adsorption will be more, and that is possible only when we can take more balls or more molecules or more number of catalyst molecules. Then only can say having higher active sites and it is also responsible for removing more amount of pollutant or MB. Okay, and that is how it is formed, the precursor complex. Precursor complex means it is the intermediate state where the adsorbent molecule will be adsorbed on the adsorbent for some time, and that state of complex, that state of species is called precursor complex, and ultimately that molecule will be removed in certain different configuration and the active site is again regenerated. Okay, that means the pollutants molecules are wandering here and there and come closer to the active sites and get arrested for some time, and there must be some changes, and that molecule must be removed from that surface during the formation of the molecule on the surface, that is called precursor complex. After some time, the complex molecule will broken down to certain different molecules, and that can be removed, and again the catalyst surface is clean or again ready to adsorb another molecule. So the important factor here is active site. If the number of active site is more, then the decoloration is also more. Thank you. Next, what is the effect of pH of MB solution? So before this pH, another word it is used, initial pH. You see here what happens actually. Whenever you take the solution, any chemical solution, it has some particular pH. If you take hydrochloric acid solution, then it must have the pH less than 7. If you take sodium hydroxide solution, its pH must be more than 7, like that. Whenever I take methylene blue solution, it must have some pH. Okay, so that pH is called initial pH. I am interested to study about the effect of pH on the adsorption process. That means I have to change that initial pH by adding hydrochloric acid or sodium hydroxide to getting to different pH. Okay, so it is called initial pH. During the course of reaction or adsorption process, there are certain compounds may be released from the catalyst to the solution. Okay, then the pH must be changed, and we are not able to study about the continuous change in pH during the complete adsorption process. So for initial pH, if I record the initial pH and started this adsorption process at different initial pH, then whether this pH will affect the process of adsorption or not, that is my interest. Okay, you see here plot is this is the graph written the time taken in the x-axis as usual the other graphs, and decoloration percentage in the y-axis, and the different curves obtained at a different pH. What are the observations? So decoloration of MB decreases progressively with increasing pH, means initial pH. If I increase the pH, then decoloration process decreases. Then the pH, then the decoloration process will be effective at lower pH or higher pH. Definitely at lower pH. Okay, it is decoloration progressively decreasing with increasing pH. That means the reverse is true. The true means it is more effective. That is decoloration process increases if the pH decreases. Okay, that means decoloration process is more effective at lower pH and less effective at higher pH. This is the conclusion, but the reason we should know. Okay, and the second observation is at lower pH the reduction potential of manganese hydroxide oxide and manganese 2 couple would improve, favoring the adsorption of the dye and hence cause decolorization. Here you see that we saw here the with lower pH the reduction potential increases. At lower pH reduction potential increases. This methylene blue is the pollutant, manganese noodle is the catalyst, and the reaction here takes place as the oxidizing catalyst, oxidizing process. So oxidizing process means here like the manganese potassium permanganate, that is the oxidizing agent. Similarly, this manganese noodle also acts as the oxidizing agent. That means it will oxidize the pollutant in methylene blue. So it can oxidize the methylene blue to less harmful products. So any substance which can oxidize others, that must be reduced itself very frequently or very easily. Then only that substance can be regarded as the best oxidizing agent. So this manganese noodle is best oxidizing agent when it will be reduced progressively or very fast, and that is possible only when the pH is very less, means acidic. So in the acidic condition the reduction potential increases, that means the metal has the tendency to be reduced fast, alternately oxidizes the others, means methylene blue oxidize easily kariparibo. Okay, so this is the reason why at lower pH decolorization is more and higher pH why it is less. Another question may arise, what is the possibility of higher pH how it is affecting the adsorption process. At higher pH, what happens? Here you see this manganese 2, because in the manganese nodule it is present as the manganese 4. When it is reduced, that is called manganese 2, because manganese nodule reduces itself and oxidizes methylene blue. So reduces means it from manganese 4 to manganese 2, and this manganese 2 is released to the solution continuously. Okay, and adsorption process also simultaneously taking place. So methylene blue is anionic dye which on adsorption of the catalyst or the manganese nodule, the surface area becomes negatively charged. Surface area becomes negatively charged. Once it is negatively charged, manganese 2 plus, it is in the positive state, that will be attracted to the surface, and the surface area will be covered by the manganese 2. That means the catalytic surface is completely closed or covered by or hindered by the adsorption of this manganese 2, and it is unable to catalyze or oxidize methylene blue again and again. That's why at higher pH, manganese 2 release is very fast, which can inhibit the adsorption of methylene blue on the surface, which results the less decolorization process. Next slide is effect of added electrolytes. There is every chance of addition of other electrolytes in the industrial effluents. When wastewater is coming out from the industry, it is not only affected or contaminated with manganese methylene blue, it is also polluted or contaminated with various salts, that is the electrolyte. It may be carbonate, phosphate, chloride, nitrate and sulfate like this. It may be sodium carbonate or sodium phosphate, potassium chloride or sodium nitrate or potassium sulfate like this. There are so many salts have the chance to be added during the effluents or that process, coloring process. So that wastewater, if this wastewater is contaminated with these electrolytes, whether it is helpful for decolorization process or not, that is also studied. So it is here, you see, we are using the same methylene blue pure solution and added some amount of electrolyte to some to a definite amount of carbonate or phosphate or chloride salts are added to this, and pH is remaining constant, catalyst quantity is also constant, and concentration of methylene blue is also constant. When we are studying about a particular parameter, that is electrolyte effect, other parameters must be fixed or it is constant. So what happened to this? If I add carbonate is present in that solution, then percentage of decolorization is more. If sulfate is present in the solution, then decolorization process is less. It is clearly observed. Different electrolytes, different percentage of conversion. Initially, everything in every solution, initially within very short time, the decolorization process is highly appreciable, or it is just reach to some 90% or 80%, 90% easily. Then it will slow down. Okay. The conclusion here is the highest inhibition in decolorization by carbonate ion is due to its alternation or suspension of pH from acidic to basic pH. Basic pH, acidic to basic pH conversion, and the pH must be changed from this 3 to 10.5. It is also recorded, because you know the carbonate solution is alkaline. When the carbonate is present, then this pH also changes. During this change in pH, we have studied in the last slide what is the effect of pH. Accordingly, the adsorption process or the decolorization process also affected by the addition of this carbonate, which can change the solution pH during the process of decolorization. The second one is the presence of sulfate favors the decolorization due to its high mobility. This another factor, mobility of the solution or the electrolyte. If the sulfate is more mobile, then the surface will be clean. If this catalyst or electrolyte is more mobile, then the surface will be clean and it will be furnished, or it will be more useful for adsorption process or decolorization process. Okay. Next, what is the effect of heat treatment? You should not be confused. The solution is heated. The solution is heated. Now, we are taking the solution at a particular concentration and particular temperature, and catalyst loading is also constant. But what is the effect of heat here? The catalyst which can prepared, basically it will be it was dried at 110 degree for 8 hours. Okay, it is for 8 hours. If I heat that same catalyst for 12 hours, let's say 30 hours, let's say 5 hours, like this. So at a different same temperature for different process at different hours, or different temperatures for the same hours. So we are taking different amount of catalyst and heated at different temperature, 110 degree, 200 degree or 400 degree for same hours of heating, 8 hours completely. Then what will happen to the decolorization process? Here you see the manganese 110, 200, 900 means these are the suffixes are the recording. This corresponds to temperature. Mn 100 means manganese heated at 100 degrees Celsius. Mn 400 means it is heated at 400 degrees Celsius for 8 hours. And Mn 900 means it is heated about 900 degrees Celsius for 8 hours. Okay. So these are the different catalysts prepared by changing its heating process or heating time. Heating temperature. So what is the observation? The rate of disappearance of Mb decreases with increase in calcination temperature, which may be, the reason is given in the red color, due to the transformation of active component manganese dioxide to manganese Mn3O4 trimanganese tetroxide. You see here the chemical species also change with the heating. Okay. When 110 degrees heated for indefinite period also, there will be no change in the composition of manganese dioxide, manganese noodle. Once the composition is changed, definitely it has different surface area, different activity, different catalytic property. It may be completely useless. It may not be a catalyst. That exactly happens. What is that at lower temperature, disappearance is more, means decolorization is more. If the temperature rises to 900 degree, then the decolorization process is slowed down. It will not be able to remove all the methylene blue pollutants or color or the dye. It is the 900 graph. Why it happens? Because you see at higher temperature, this transformation of active component of manganese dioxide, which is very much present in the manganese as manganese 4, oxidation state is +4, means manganese 4, and that is in the oxide form manganese dioxide is mostly present, and that is the responsible part or component of that manganese nodule which enhances the catalytic process or which is responsible for catalytic decolorization of Mb. And when this manganese dioxide is converted to some unuseful component like Mn3O4, then decolorization process definitely decreases. And it happens only when the temperature, the heating temperature or the calcination temperature is very high. So with increasing the calcination temperature, the more and more amount of a manganese trimanganese tetroxide will be more, and the active side will be less. That will affect the process of decolorization. Then the reduced activity of calcined manganese nodule is probably due to the lower oxygen manganese ratio, lower surface area, minimum nitrogen pore volume and surface oxygen, and lower surface acidity. All the factors we have studied, lower oxygen manganese ratio. If the oxygen is less in comparison to manganese, what should be in the natural process or natural material? If it is less, then that will be less effective. And it happens when the temperature is more, oxygen manganese ratio will fall. Similarly, lower surface area, by heating, the active surface area will be completely demolished. Some sites will be demolished. That's why if the number of available active sites is less, then the decolorization process is also less. And minimum nitrogen pore volume. What is the use of this? What is the essence of this pore? Pore, you know, porous material means more volume is empty. There are spherical volumes or different shape volumes are there. The complete, it is the manganese nodule which is very porous material, means the empty space is much more, and inside the empty spaces the manganese that methylene blue can be entered and it will be arrested there and it will be removed. If the porous size or pores are less, then the adsorption also ineffective. So by heating, that complete structure is completely damaged and the pores are also very less. It is more dense material will be, it is more dense material. If it is more porous, then more adsorption is possible. If it is less porous, less adsorption is possible. That's why with increasing the calcination temperature, structure is damaged and the pores, number of pores will be less and the active sites also less and the decoloration also affected. Okay, then conclusion. So after so many variations or parameter study, we will reach at the conclusion, and the conclusion is also intentionally it is green because it is a green approach. So dye decoloration rate was significantly increased with the increase in catalyst loading. What we have studied, it is only one line conclusion is given. If decoloration was decreased with increasing pH, similarly these are the electrolytes present which inhibits the colors decoloration process, and there are some electrolytes which can also accelerate the decoloration process, and the rate of dye degradation dramatically reduced with increasing the calcination temperature, just we have discussed, and consecutive reuse of manganese nodule for dye decoloration showed a marginal decreasing the tendency in its catalytic activity. The catalyst should not be used once. If it is used repeatedly, then it will be economically and industrially friendly. Okay? If the catalyst is used more and more number of times, then that is called catalyst. Once used and just reject, it is not a good catalyst. And it is also verified. The same catalyst can be used twice and thrice, and in after fourth round, it has been seen that very less number of active sites are deactivated and more number of active sites are remain in the same factor. That means the catalyst can be used more and more times and repeatedly. This is the conclusion. Lastly, let's say bye-bye to dye and be with dye but not dye. Thank you.